Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Join us live Saturday mornings between 9 and 10 a.m. in Fredonia, Mayville, and Silver Creek. Call in and share a thought or wish someone a happy birthday with Chautauqua County's only live on-air senior program. Reed continues in his 15th year with interesting guests expressing their viewpoints and informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
Good morning. As you can tell, I'm not Reed. I'm a little bit younger, just a tiny bit. Reed is out this week and next. He's out on a nice, wonderful cruise. I wish I could be down there instead of up here in the rainy Chautauqua County. It would just not be, it's just not fun here. It would be so much fun to be on a cruise. Anyways, we might hear from him. I'm not sure if he's going to call in, but he would definitely call in next week. Next week we'll have Jim Subject and probably Dave Narducci. They're going to talk about law for you. But anyways, he will definitely call in next week. I'm not sure if he'll call in this week. In other news, you see, fighting all around the Middle East. It's what they do. The Middle East is defined to fight each other. I think Libya is going into a civil war now. Gaddafi is being more hard-headed than my dad, which I didn't even think was possible, but apparently it is. Anyways, the iPad 2 was released Wednesday. If you ever know anything about me, I am a big Apple fanboy. So the iPad 2 was released. Steve Jobs, he's looking pretty good. He surprised everyone by actually showing up. He's currently still on medical leave, so he's not the day-to-day CEO, but he is still the CEO on paper. Samsung, after the launch of the iPad 2, has decided that they want to go back and scratch their Galaxy Tab and start completely over again because they realize that there's no possible way they can beat the iPad 2. Anyways, in local news, the bike registration ID, I've heard Kathy Young stop that. Just dead in its tracks. No one really wants to pay, I don't know what it was, $25 to register their bike and put a license on there. I'd love to see it, a 3-year-old and a tricycle get pulled over for all this different things. Anyways, I'm sure she'll be able to elaborate on April 9th when she'll be here with Reed. Andy Godala apparently voiced his opinion too. I don't know, I didn't read that much into it. Anyways, Mayor Anthony Caprino passed away. They announced that yesterday in the Post-Journal and some other sites. I don't know, my dad loves to read all these news sites on Facebook. I don't use Facebook so much for that. I think the Post-Journal had the time and place of the funeral if you wanted to go to that. In senior news, we got a lot of senior news. I'm going to pull up some of the senior news here and just give you a quick peek into some of these. The Brockton Portland seniors held their February meeting at the American Legion. There was 44 members in attendance. President Robin Carr, Josie Lawnslacker, and Williams, whoever that is, had a birthday. The next meeting for them will be March 28th. The Dunkirk Federated Seniors met Tuesday at the Dunkirk Senior Center on Franklin Avenue in Dunkirk. They sang God Bless America, and they said the Pledge of Allegiance. Attendance prizes, excuse me. Attendance prizes went to Betty, Marianne, and Ruth. I don't know how to say the last name, so I'm not even going to try. It was led by Vice President Helen Barone. Lunch they're going to have this Tuesday with a Mardi Gras theme. Apparently this Tuesday is Fat Tuesday, from what everyone told me in college. I don't know. Lakeshore seniors meet Wednesday at the Dunkirk Senior Center. They did. They have President Charlene Hallmark. She led the pledge and the singing of the national anthem. They're going to have a spring dinner April 6th at the Senior Center. They're going to start selling tickets next week. You can contact any of the senior members over there to get tickets. Sophie Kubasek pointed out the Observer's Monday article, 8 Things to Do After Losing Your Wallet. My guess is it's probably a good idea to, read that article and see what you're supposed to do after you lose your wallet, because I don't know why you'd lose your wallet anyways, but if you did, it's usually got important stuff in there. They had refreshments there, and of course bingo was played, just like all the senior centers always do. I know it was always fun as a kid, a little bit younger than me, to go out and play bingo with my grandmother, but I just don't have time nowadays. Mount Carmel Social Club. They have President Carm Tampio. Please excuse if I can't pronounce your name, because, well, I'm going to be a teacher, and it's going to be hard enough to pronounce students' names, let alone other things. Carm called the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance and singing God Bless America. That must be a senior thing. You say the pledge and sing God Bless America. Anyways, they're going to have a St. Joseph's Day luncheon March 16th at noon. They're going to have, they did have desserts, and it was enjoyed by the members because everyone loves dessert. Dessert and bingo and coffee are the 3 things you have at a senior meeting. I wouldn't know, maybe my dad would. He's going to start joining someone, I don't know. They have plans in the making for a spring fling party to be held April 30th at the Fredonia Beaver Club. They're going to have doors open at 3. They're going to have a buffet dinner at 5 by the Beaver Tail Caterers. Following the meeting, they're going to have, of course, bingo. Silver Creek Seniors, they have Tuesday meetings. They had 20 members at their last meeting present. President Ed Newman opened the meeting. They had prayers by Chaplain Irene Connie for Arlene Mohart, and they said that Ethel Patterson is over at the county home, and she would either love a visit or a card if you ever have a chance over there. Trips are planned to Erie Playhouse for Tuesday, May 31st. That's, down the road, but they still like to get that stuff planned now. They're going to have a mystery trip. Sounds fun. It's July 19th. And a Medina train trip to Lockport. And a museum trip on October 12th. They had bingo called by Ernie Hilliker. March 15th is the St. Patrick's lunch at noon in the club rooms. They're going to have just a cost of $2 for that. Mayville Seniors just had a meeting on Thursday. They had a discussion with the Chautauqua Lake Conservatory speaking about keeping the lake clean because, we just love the seaweed in the lake. The best time, my dad says, to swim in the lake is at the Polar Bear because there's no seaweed. They welcomed new members, Sandy Derbish, Marsha Lindquist, and they had a guest, Jesse Seiper. Sandy Anderson and Gene Kelsey announced that they're going to have some upcoming trips. This is not all of them. There was a list this long of upcoming trips they've got. But anyways, on March 8th, they're going down to the Salamanca Casino. If you ever listen to Reed, he always says, you just get the chips they give you and that's it. Don't spend any more. My dad, he's a little bit more on the edge. Anyways, June they're going to have a meeting and lunch aboard the Chautauqua Belle. That is, if the lake thaws by then. You never know around here. The lake thaws and they get out by that time. It says more information maybe get by calling Sandy or Jean. And the Sherman Girls will be playing tonight. This is Saturday, March 5th at Jamestown High School in the Class D finals. So if anyone wants to go over and root on the Sherman girls, it's only tonight, so if you see this anytime during the week, yeah, you kind of missed it, but look at the Post-Journal or some other site for what the score was, because it's going to be a good game. We filmed Sherman and Pine Valley, and they're both very good teams. So it looks like it's going to be a good game. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a public service announcement, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes here. That is if Jeff has got it ready. Doesn't sound like he's got it ready.
No.
Yeah, he says no. Anyways, we'll wait for him. As soon as he's ready, he'll let Randy know. Until then, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce Mr. Keyser here. Steve is, if you watched, he announced all our basketball games this year. He announced some football games we did this year. So, good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me.
I don't know if he's going to switch the camera or not. Donald, can you just zoom out? Okay, there we go. Anyways, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
See, I caught our people off this morning just a little bit, but I do that all the time. So, anyways, what we're going to talk about are some things from basketball that I've heard Steve, when I've been switching, say, or, you know, what is this violation about? What does this mean? And then some questions my dad gave me, some questions other people gave me. But I did hear that we had a phone call. I'm not sure if it's John Hamels or if it's Reed, but good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning. You guessed right. It's Reed. I'm just calling in from Long Island.
Well, good morning, Reed. How are you?
Fine. We're in the balmy 40s down here. We're about 45, 46. I'm sure I've been reading the weather reports. It's getting a little cold up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really rainy this morning. And Jeff, he looked at the radar just before the show. He said it's going to be raining for the next week.
Yeah. Well, who's your guest today?
I've got Steve Keyser here. He announced all our basketball games for us, and he's going to give us some insight into basketball and football.
Oh, great, great. Well, I hope you have a good program, and I just wanted to check in with you and tell you that we're live and rolling tomorrow. We're about ready to go up on the magnificent Jewel, which is an NCL boat, and we're heading down to the Bahamas.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I know I've always wished I could get on a cruise, but I just don't have any money. So.
Oh, well, when you get out of college, you'll make lots of money.
Yeah, maybe when you retire, you can take us all on a trip. We'll do a live broadcast or something.
Yeah, well, I've told our listeners they can do it for about $500 a piece for a week on the on one of these gorgeous ships, floating hotels and gourmet food 24/7. Just floating all over the world, and it's like peanuts for a week. $500, you can't even get a cheap motel for that.
Yeah, maybe when I become a teacher and be making all that money, you know.
Yeah, right. Because they keep telling you teachers make all this money. You know,
I could go on spring break or something down there.
I've noticed that. I'm not a teacher, but I've noticed that all the suffering and the pain and the cutbacks in union, being able to negotiate and taking big chunks out of their health care and savings and load, this is all on teachers, not on firemen, not on police, not on most of the functionaries. It's just teachers they're attacking, for God's sake. I wonder why.
I don't know. The government seems to look at education, see, we put this much money into it, let's shrink it down to, this much. Because that doesn't matter, and apparently,
Yeah, and they keep yelling we're getting behind the world in education, but they want to keep cutting the teachers back. And, somebody should remind them teachers have to go to college on their own expense at sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. They have to have 5 years of education to teach and years of experience before they hit the top. They get a little bit every year, seniority as they go up. But I just can't understand why they're attacking teachers.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into becoming a teacher, and I found that out in my first education class. It's just a lot going into it. But you were a teacher at one point, weren't you, Reed?
I did teach for a few years. Then I realized that, I had other opportunities, and I took them. And teaching was